Check, check. Check, check. And welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us once again with your host, Aaron Gideon, on LA Press Box. And a big night at the beginning of a big series. In fact, a couple of series within a short period of time between one of the biggest rivalries in Southern California history, Los Angeles Dodgers at the San Diego Padres. So I'm glad you're here to see it with us and to see history in the making, however it plays out. Because, of course, as you know, the Dodgers are in a historic run. Not only have they won the World Championship the last 2 years, but they have the best record in baseball. In fact, they were a half game behind the Padres the last time that the Dodgers traveled south to San Diego. But it's a big difference now with the Padres 9 games behind the Dodgers. But tonight will no doubtedly have its own set of fireworks. And the Dodgers are opening this 3-game weekend series on a bit of a roll. They came in with momentum as a result of the sweep that they just completed against the Minnesota Twins, outscoring them 15-4 over the 3-game series. And they had dominant pitching with some pretty timely hitting in 2 of those 3 games, but one of them they just exploded. The Padres are coming in just as hot, although they've really struggled in the second quarter of the season. Since the last time that the two teams met, the Padres are really on a downturn, and some of the worst hitting career-wise by some of their most important players and all-stars. And we'll get to that in just a little bit. But San Diego is fresh off of a 3-game sweep of the Atlanta Braves, which was neck and neck with the Dodgers for the best record in baseball. The Padres scored 21 runs in the series while getting outstanding pitching and arriving with a rested bullpen. So the Padres know this weekend represents a huge opportunity to make up ground in the National League West standings, as well as vying at the least for a wild card position. But the teams know each other well. The Dodgers have already won the first 2 meetings this season and have largely controlled the rivalry over the past year, going 9-4 against San Diego in 2025. But every time the two teams meet, and I feel it myself, it feels like a playoff game. And so we're keyed up if we're LA sports fans, no matter what time of year they play. And of course, they've met in the playoffs. Wouldn't be surprised if they meet again this year in the playoffs later on. Tonight's pitching matchup adds another fascinating storyline. Former Dodger Walker Buehler takes the mound for San Diego against his old club. And Buehler spent years helping bring championships to Los Angeles. Now he's going to try to slow down the very lineup he used to practice against every day. The Dodgers counter with rookie sensation Roki Sasaki, whose electric fastball has really given people fits. But there have been times where Roki struggled this year. The Dodgers have been pleased with the fact that he's gradually improved over the course of this season, but they'd still like to see him be a little more consistent. Offensively, all eyes remain on Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, those all-stars, as well as kind of a resurgence lately, a modest resurgence by Mookie Betts. He's definitely feeling like he's in a lot better space. In fact, the last time he was on the field, he had a chance to hit for the cycle. That's a far cry from where he was when, a couple months ago, he was batting less than 200. So we'll see if Mookie can continue what he's been doing at the plate. But of course, Shohei is the show. He's the linchpin of the Dodgers offensively and to some extent defensively. Had a solid outing the last time he was on the mound, but he will not be on the mound tonight. But there's been, heated moments between these teams over the years, and we'll see if that plays out tonight. with all-stars on both sides, not just Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Shohei Ohtani, but potentially Andy Pages if he gets enough votes, because most of this first part of the season, he's played well enough to be able to garner an all-star position. For San Diego, the Stars are just as dangerous. You have Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, and Jackson Merrill headlining a very capable lineup that can always go yard with one swing. And the Padres have been playing much better baseball over the last week, so we'll see if that continues. They definitely get hyped when they're in Petco Park, and I've been in that park when the two teams have played, and it's really electric. So this weekend, we'll see. It could have major implications in the National League West race. The Dodgers are looking to continue the winning streak and widen their division lead, while the Padres are trying to prove that they can challenge the Dodgers and close that gap. So settle in, grab your favorite ballpark snack, and we're going to take you through the starting lineups, as we always do. So as you can see, here's Roki Sasaki for the Dodgers, who has a 3-4 win-loss record. Currently, his ERA is 4.76, so that's an indicator of being a little inconsistent, although better than he was when he first joined the Dodgers. And at this point, he has 70 strikeouts, and he's got 25 walks. He's given up 13 home runs, so that's something he's definitely got to decrease. Buehler's 4-3, and he's got just a hair below a 4.0 ERA at 3.96. He's had 65 Ks so far this year, 23 walks, and 5 home runs. So, of course, as the visiting team, the Dodgers will be up first, and their first half of the lineup is what it has been for several weeks now. Be nice if we could see that consistently being the look, with Shohei up first in the DH position, as he always is, followed by Pages, Freeman, Betts at shortstop, and Max Muncy at third base. Kyle Tucker, after taking the last game off, is back in the lineup, and they're hoping that maybe that recharges him a little bit, because he's definitely struggled at the plate the last couple of months after starting the season pretty solid. So they're putting him in the 6th spot, followed by Tommy Edman, which is great to have back. The Dodgers have been kind of cautious in reintroducing him to the lineup, but I'm really glad to see him, because the young players that have been filling those spots in the batting order have really been spotty. He's followed by Dalton Rushing, who had a kerfuffle, I guess you could say, with Shohei Ohtani last game, and he took responsibility for that. To his credit, he said it was kind of an embarrassing moment for him, that he let his emotions get the best of him. And then the bottom of the lineup playing second base is Alex Freeland. We might see Tommy Edman go to second base. This is something that he has done more than once since he's come back from his rehab assignment, playing some left field, which he didn't usually, and then switching down to second base depending on how the game plays out. For the Padres, also a familiar lineup. Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off, playing right field as always, followed by Taylor, Merrill, Manny Machado in cleanup position, Sheets, Bogarts, France, Wagner, and Duran. So we're going to go ahead and reload the 3D view as we always do, and then we're going to get started, guys. This 3D stuff is pretty funny. It's fascinating, it's amazing, but it's also funny sometimes, especially when there's downtime, whether there's a huddle on the mound or there's transition in between the innings. So we'll see what we can do to try to take advantage of those different angles. Most of the time, we're going to try to give you the bird's eye view tonight. He's the linchpin. Buehler on the mound, getting loose, and just about to throw the first pitch. All right, here we go with the first pitch, and Shohei Ohtani getting locked in. One of the best offenses in baseball. And Shohei looks at the first pitch for a strike. All kinds of phones out at the game tonight. And honestly, that's how we were too when we went to the game, the last series. Second pitch on the way. And base hit in between first and second base to right field. And that's the kind of start we want to see. Safe at first, with Shohei Ohtani setting the tone. When he gets on base, whether it's a home run, a single, double, doesn't really matter at the start of the game, I just feel like the vibes are so much more positive, and we tend to get off to a strong start. Padres swings at the first pitch, which he's been doing a lot of lately, and almost hit into a double play. Made the play at second base and got Ohtani, so now there's one away, and Padres at first base. I'd like to see him be a little more patient. So that brings up the number 3 hitter, first base, Freddie Freeman. And the chance for Freddie in the stands. Looks at the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Marginal lead from Padres on first base. And the second pitch is in the dirt. Ball 1. 1-1. And they got to switch the ball out. San Diego wearing one of their alternate uniforms. Looks terrible if you ask me. But I'm a little partial to the traditional classic Dodger look. Next pitch on the way, and another ball, 2-1. Freddie's batting .282 on the season. He's got that really unique, almost golfer swing that helps him make contact wherever the ball is. And on the fourth pitch, he fouls it into the dirt. 2-2. One away. Andy Pages with just a little stronger lead. And the next pitch misses inside. Full count to Freeman. So Walker Buehler looks okay so far. I really like to look at the first couple of batters to see if pitchers are wild and just not feeling it, not on their game. You can usually tell early on. Or if they're really like confident. Pages is going, and the throw down the second is in time for a double play after Freddie Freeman swings at strike 3. Outstanding throw and tag on Pages. And the crowd goes nuts. Pages, when he got there, looked like he slid a little bit early. Just looking at the replay, the timing didn't seem comfortable for him. Like he slowed down based on the fact that he started his slide a little bit early and not only lost momentum, but he kind of bounced up in the air a little bit. You could see his foot bounce up. And that might have been the difference. But either way, it's 3 outs, and now the Padres are coming up. Roki Sasaki warming up. You know, and he's a really key piece. If Roki ends up just continuing to gradually improve and gets more consistent, because sometimes he can just blow people away. But he'll give up home runs at times that are really inopportune. I mean, it's never a good time to give up a home run, obviously. But there are times where he'll start strong and then somebody will get to him. Like, he'll just have a pretty bad inning. And so the Dodgers are looking for, you know, another kind of lockdown starter in addition to Yamamoto, in addition to Ohtani, and, you know, the rest of the starting lineup. You know, Justin Robleski is probably the biggest story at this point of the Dodgers pitching staff, because he's the person that's pitched as much as anybody on the Dodgers starting staff at the level of an all-star. And most projections are that he is going to make the all-star team. So Sasaki with a Golden Glove on the mound, and he's starting to Tatis in his customary first position. Tatis is batting .283, so that's pretty respectable. And starts Tatis 2-0 early on. Kind of brushed him back on that last one, as you can see. Next pitch is in there for a strike. 2-1 to Tatis. You know, the thing about San Diego, I tried to get behind them when I moved down here. I really did. I tried to be the good local, but I just couldn't. One, because I loved LA sports too much. And even though it's an amazing, amazing thing to be able to live in San Diego County, I still have pride in being from Los Angeles. And the other thing about being from Los Angeles, especially compared to San Diego, is that there's desperation around the Padres playing well, because that's the only professional sports team that they have as Tatis goes down swinging for the first out of the inning. And I couldn't get behind that desperation. And I feel bad for the Padres fans. I do. You know, they're kind of angry, justifiably so, at having the Chargers leave. And you see almost nobody walking around with Chargers gear. So they either threw it out or burned it, or who knows what they did when they moved to Los Angeles. But conversely, that's allowed more resources in the market to be able to get behind the Padres. And this is one reason why they have been able to compete with the Dodgers' payroll. It's a complete contrast when you talk about people representing San Diego by wearing Padres gear down here. All kinds of people have Padres gear on a daily basis, particularly hats. So 1 away, and Sasaki pitching to Taylor starts him at 2-1. And the 2-1 pitch swung on a miss, and that was wicked. Wicked splitter inside. 2-2. And this is how Sasaki often starts. Like he looks deadly on the mound. And, you know, we'll take it. We'll take every inning he can give us that looks like all-star level. But, like, a lot of times he gets to the 4th, 5th inning and he starts to struggle. So we'll see how he does. It's full count now. Taylor dangerous right now, and this is part of the reason I think they were able to sweep the Braves. He's batting in the last 15 games almost 400. Wearing the pink long sleeves underneath his jersey. And with a 3-2 count, Taylor fouls off 2 straight pitches. Taylor is another local player. You see all kinds of SoCal players from, both San Diego and LA County, Riverside County, even San Bernardino to an extent, that are on these major league teams. Taylor played at Corona Centennial High School, great sports team, all kinds of resources, especially when you think of the fact that Corona Centennial is a public school. But still 3-2. Taylor battling Sasaki. And swings and fouls off another one. Close to the hands on the bat, and still full count to Taylor. So 1 away, and yet another pitch to Taylor, and well inside for ball 4. So now the Padres have their first runner of the game. So that brings up the 3-hitter, Merrill. And Jackson is struggling. He's only batting .212. But he's a fan favorite. I mean, they really hyped this guy inside of Petco. Sasaki starts him with a ball, 1-0. And the pitch grounded to the right. Freddie Freeman picks it up, goes to second, and then back to first for the double play. Great job by Freeman getting the ball out of his glove quickly, going to second base, and then, of course, Mookie Betts is just playing lights out at shortstop, gets it right back to him with a step to spare, and they turn the double play, and that ends the first inning. So at the end of 1, the Dodgers strand a runner, and so do the Padres, and the score is 0-0. All right, so we're going back out to the mound to watch former Dodger Walker Buehler get warmed up. And you can kind of see closing up on any of these players for the Padres that they're wearing the alternate uniforms tonight. Oh yeah, you can tell. Full stadium. Pretty packed house. Although it looks like not everybody's there yet. So Mookie Betts is going to start off the second inning. And he's really been on a roll. Like we said earlier in the preview, he almost hit for the cycle. When I say almost, he was in position to. It's not like he got thrown out for a triple. But home run, single, double, and that's a far cry from where Mookie Betts was a month ago. I mean, not even close. And to his credit, I mean, he's just kind of slowly worked, spent extra time in the cage earlier on the day, working on getting that top hand over, making solid contact. If the home runs happen, they happen. But he's not trying to jack it out of the park. And you can see it in his body language. He looks more confident. He's kind of the opposite of some of the other players that have really struggled lately. But those guys are at the bottom of the lineup as you would normally expect. So Buehler about to pitch the first pitch to Mookie Betts. And Betts swings at the first pitch. And it's going deep. It is over the left field fence for a home run. Mookie Betts. Talk about confidence. I mean, there was no doubt on that. Ball kind of floated. It was on the higher inside part of the strike zone. But Mookie turned on it in plenty of time, got the fat part of the bat on it, and it was probably about 7 to 10 feet over the fence. And so Mookie hits his fourth home run in the last 12 games. And that brings up Max Muncy. You know, Taylor, it's hard to tell from the angle that they replayed it. Taylor looks like he almost could have made that play. Can't really see exactly how much higher it was based on the camera angle, but it looks like he misjudged it to some extent. Now, I mean, you're trying to steal a home run over the fence, and so it's easy for me to say, but it might have been possible for him to knock that down. So Muncy's up, and the early count to him 2-2, with nobody out and nobody on, but a Dodger lead of 1 run. So Buehler's given up 2 hits so far, and the next pitch, well outside for ball 3. Missed with the changeup at about 90 miles an hour, so now a full count. And the pitch swung on and missed, and Muncy goes down. So first out of the inning. You know, what's interesting is how, of course, Buehler did some throwing as a teammate in practice against the Dodgers before he was traded to the Padres. And I think the more you see a pitcher, the more the advantage goes to the hitter. And we'll see if that plays out today. Now the 6th hitter, Kyle Tucker, is up. And as we said before, Tucker sat out of the lineup the last time. And we'll see if that day and the day off help him kind of get a little bit of a fresh mentality going into today's game. He has not looked comfortable at the plate. He has not looked confident. and his body language has been kind of negative. He's been hard on himself. So we'll see how he does. And the count on Tucker at this point is 2-2. Tucker batting .234. The pitch swung on and missed. High changeup. And Tucker kind of walks dejectedly off the field for the second out of the inning. So a relief for sore eyes. Tommy Edman comes up, batting number 7. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts climbing up the batting order himself a spot or two. I mean, he's only been back a couple of weeks in the Dodger lineup, but he's batting .364. You know, and Edman will play any position you want him to. He's not going to complain. In fact, he prides himself on doing whatever the team wants, whatever the team needs. First pitch is a ball to Edman. And the next pitch fouled back right into the 3D camera, to the stands. So now the count 1-1 to Edman. And he looks like he's been running well, so that's good. And 1-2 to Edman. The pitch swung on and hit for a base hit. And another one for Edman. And with a relatively small sample size, that's going to send his average up just a little bit. Hard to think, but I mean, it's going to creep higher to 400 now. So Buehler's had a couple of punch-outs, but he's also given up a couple of hits. So that's going to bring up Dalton Rushing, who is the source of a little bit of controversy with Shohei Ohtani behind the plate. Swings on the very first pitch, flied up for an easy put away and the third out of this part of the batting order for the Dodgers. But the damage was done on the very first pitch, swung on by Mookie Betts, hitting a home run over the left field fence. And so in the middle of the second, the Dodgers 1, Padres 0. Let's get out here and take a look at the Golden Glove warming up Roki Sasaki. This 3D's doing a dance. Let's try this again. There we go. Interesting to see him warming up out of the stretch. And he typically starts strong, and then he'll struggle a little bit as the game wears on. And it's not because of the pitch count, you know? I mean, it's typical for pitchers, and it's understandable. Once they get like into the high 80s, early to mid 90s, low to mid 90s, they can struggle because they get fatigued. I mean, it's just a nature of, you know, one, getting a little bit tired and fatigued, but also the batting order going around a couple of times, especially if they've been able to manage a couple of hits and accelerate that turnover from 1 through 9. And they just get, as we said before, you know, a little better idea about what they're seeing. But that hasn't been the case for Sasaki when he's struggled. When he's struggled, it usually hits in the first half of the game, not in the latter half, in the latter innings, as you would expect for a starting pitcher. All right, let's get back behind the plate, because that's gonna give us a headache watching that. It's so funny because once I moved from Los Angeles, I never thought that I would spend so many times at Petco. Petco is absolutely gorgeous, not just for baseball, but for other kinds of events. Um, Took my daughter and my son and my mother to Gallagher Square, which is right outside and behind the left field side, and watched a country music festival, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Of course, the weather's great down here, and Petco is just an amazing place to see a baseball game. So this brings up Machado, kind of one of the major lightning rods, if not the major lightning rod, in the intensity in this modern rivalry between the Dodgers and the Padres. Manny's really struggled this year. Maybe his worst year batting so far. And the early count to Machado is 2-1, so that helps him. Might give him a chance to be selective at what he decides to swing at. But the next pitch is in there for a strike, 2-2. Machado's only batting 184, you know. This is the space that Mookie Betts was in not long ago, and he's battled his way back. Machado has not. He hit a home run this last week, I think. Wasn't really tracking the Padres that closely. I think, my amateur opinion is that part of what hurts him is he tries to swing for the fences and be electric all the time. And sometimes you just have to go with, the pitch that's presented to you and stop trying to lift it all the time. Fouls it off, and the count's 2-2. Fouls another off for 2-2. So battling, trying to lock in on Sasaki. Last time a hitter did this, they were able to induce Sasaki to walk him, but still only 2 balls. 2-2. That one hit right off the face mask of Rushing. And it's a little bit of a glancing shot. I mean, I know I haven't played at this level, so take this with a grain of salt. But I was a catcher for a long time, including high school. And, there's a difference between whether it hits a foul back, hits off the side of your helmet, or like directly in the face. And that was kind of off the side. So not as bad as what he experienced a couple of games ago that necessitated him leaving the game and then ultimately having to go into concussion protocol. Okay, check swing from Machado. Rushing checks with the first base umpire, said no, it didn't go. So full count. Another long at bat, just like Taylor. Swung on him, fouled to the left field line, and the count stays full, 3-2. Sasaki's up to 26 pitches. Mildly concerning. And on the way with the next one. And misses for ball 4, just like he did with Taylor in the first inning. This is exactly what we didn't want to see. And just so you know, if you tune in with any regularity, there's only one superstition I have, and that's being superstitious. So if you're worried about saying, oh my gosh, I hope he's not going to pitch another ball 4, and that's going to lead to him doing it, that's just not me. In fact, I'll say it out of superstition. Oh, and a pitch in the dirt, struggle from Rushing to get it, and Machado goes to second. Holy smokes, man. And I can't really say, that's not on Rushing. As we look at this, looked like it was a curveball. It bounced in front of home plate. I mean, Sasaki, it was a terrible wild pitch. And to his credit, Rushing got down on both knees and tried to cup it with his glove between his legs, all of the fundamentals you teach young catchers even before they're in high school. It just bounced off his chest protector, and that's always like a 50-50 proposition about where it's going to go. And it bounced far enough where he just couldn't get to it in time and make a decent throw. So now you got Machado in scoring position on second base. And he's not in a good start against Sheets. 3-0 to Sheets. Needless to say, a hitter's count. Sheets is batting .224. So, you don't want to give anybody confidence by allowing them to see more pitches than they deserve. And he walks Sheets. So now all of a sudden we have first and second. There's no outs. And the pitching coach and a translator, along with the catcher, all visit the mound. The funny thing is, on the 3D, when they show this, I guess just because the Major Leagues doesn't have the money or the interest in rendering an animation for the pitching coach or the translator, they're just talking to nobody. They're talking to ghosts. But they were there, trust me. And as you can see, the umpire, who is tracked by the 3D, is coming out and saying, all right, guys, that's enough. Let's get back to work. Hopefully the communication is better with Rushing and today's pitcher. I guess only time will tell, but it couldn't be worse than it was the other day between he and Shohei. So now Bogaerts comes up, much beloved Padre player. When I've gone to those games, he's got strong fan support, but he's only batting .230. So make them do their own work. Make them swing. Make them make contact. And the first pitch is a strike. So the brief huddle at the mound, for now, looks like it helped. And the next pitch, check swing, and he did go for strike two. So just like that, all of a sudden Sasaki's ahead in the count to the next hitter, 0-2. And the next pitch is a ball, so 1-2 to Bogaerts. Padres looking to make some noise here. And the next pitch swung on and fouled away. It counts 1-2. You just hope that Sasaki does a solid job and makes the Padres hitters perform rather than taking pitches and walking. Because their batting average and their offensive production is right at the bottom of baseball right now. That's the number one reason that they've been struggling. So 2-2 count right now to Bogaerts. And makes contact, line drive to center field, but Pages makes the play comfortably. Pages does such a great job with his footwork, being able to see what direction the ball's going to go off the bat and not taking false steps. And they had a great look on television there. So the Dodgers have one out, but still in a little bit of a bind, even though they have a one-run lead, thanks to a first pitch home run from Mookie Betts during the last at bat. So that brings up Ty France, number 7, who's batting .252 on the season. Thanks for joining us on LA Press Box, new channel and a community for LA sports fans. Go ahead and participate in the chat. Let us know who you think's going to win, and let us know where you're from. So 0-2 to France. Swung on. Sends it deep. Oh my gosh, there's no doubt on this one. And it looks like he lands it in the upper deck for a home run. A 3-run shot from France. Man. Roki Sasaki. For all the good stuff he shows, he'll break your heart, man. And I still do not have confidence in him. This is not even crunch time. I mean, it's kind of a playoff atmosphere. But, I mean, he had good movement on the ball, but he left it in a place where France could get to it still and golf it for a home run. You got to give France credit on that one, though, too. Because it was just on the inside edge of the strike zone. It was a little bit lower than the strike zone. And so he did a great job getting to it. So now the Dodgers have their work cut out for them. So in the 7th position, Ty France, who's been hot lately, clears the base paths. And suddenly a 1-0 deficit becomes a 3-1 lead for the Padres. And that brings up the number 9 hitter, Duran. One and one is the early count to Duran. And the pitch from Sasaki flied up meekly to center field. Andy Pages hardly has to take a step and makes the easy out, but the damage is done in this inning. 3-run shot from Ty France after Sasaki walks 2 batters in that inning. So we definitely have some fireworks early. And we've got a long way to go. Walker Buehler coming back out to the mound. And Freeland about to get his first shot against him. Freeland's in the 9 spot because he can run. And of course, Shohei Ohtani's on deck, starting the top of the lineup. So, of course, you want to put somebody up there that can get on base, and then you can cash in with your best hitters. But he struggles to get on base. I mean, it's not like he's been blanked and he's been terrible. It's not like Machado, who's, averages below 200. But this is really the weakness of the Dodgers lineup, is the bottom three typically. Freeland's only batting .241 at this point in the season. He also only has 3 home runs, and he has 17 RBIs. And the first pitch to Freeland is a strike, 0-1. Next pitch swung on and fouled for strike 2. And reports are that Teoscar Hernandez is getting closer and closer to joining the Dodger lineup, and it couldn't come too soon because they really need everybody healthy, ideally, and that bottom part of the lineup has to be bolstered. Swung on a miss for strike 3, and Freeland goes down. So 1 away in this exchange with the Dodgers, and now we're at the top of the batting order with Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani had a base hit first time around, and the first pitch misses for a ball. Next pitch fouled off, and he may have hit it off of his front foot. He does that a lot. Yep. I mean, he's got protection on that foot, but it can only go down so far. And what happens for him is he opens his hips. Sometimes he pulls his head. And that's how he generates so much power, in addition to the fact that he's just a big man. So he fouls it off his foot, and he just looks... He's like a little kid sometimes. I think that's part of his charm. But he's just kind of like, you can see his body language. He's just going like, really, man? So 1-2 to Shohei. And the next pitch misses for ball 2. 2-2 to Shohei. Excuse me. Next pitch misses, and it's a full count. So this is where Shohei can be really dangerous. Pitch on the way from Buehler, and Shohei looks at strike 3. He's got to protect the strike zone more than he did right there with 2 strikes. I mean, he could have challenged it. Looks like on the replay the challenge would have lost. But, I mean, those are the fundamentals that usually the Dodgers do a great job with. The small things that are easy to forget when you get to the major leagues. Good defense, good thinking and running on the base paths, and protecting the strike zone when you have 2 strikes. So that's uncharacteristic for Shohei, looking at strike 3. So 2 away now, and Andy Pages up to bat, and unlike his recent strain, does not swing at the first pitch. So I'm getting what I wanted after complaining the first time around. We'll see if it leads to the result we all want if we're LA sports fans. And the count is 1-2 to Pages. Next pitch, fouled off down the left field line, and the count remains 1-2. I like this Pages. I like the Pages that makes contact, that battles, that tries to get a beat on the patterns that the pitcher's showing you. I think he's just a better hitter. It's not going to guarantee that he gets a base hit. And he swings, makes contact, and an easy fly ball for right field, and the third out of the at-bat. So at the middle of 3, the Dodgers 1 and the Padres 3. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Go ahead and get in the chat and let us know where you're from. And let us know who you think's going to win the game. So we'll see when the Padres come back up whether or not the Dodgers can keep it close and give the sluggers for the Dodgers a chance to even it up. Gosh, when you see Shohei strike out, it's like, it's kind of shocking. It's shocking to see him strike out because you don't see it very often, but it's also shocking to stop and think about how high our expectations are for him. But we can't put the whole team on his shoulders and make it so that the expectation is if he's not clicking at the plate, then we're going to struggle and have low run production. But that's often what happens. Yes, Mookie Betts hit a home run, but often the way that Shohei goes and the way that Freddie Freeman go, that's the way that our Dodgers batters go. But the story now is Roki Sasaki, who's back up there after struggling last inning, as he does, is very up and down from inning to inning. So hopefully gets back on track this inning and keeps it close. Fernando Tatis Jr. is up, and the early count to Tatis is 1-2. And the next pitch puts it at 2-2. Next pitch on the way, and bounces in the dirt, and Rushing's got to trade the balls out again. And another full count. Ay, ay, ay. You don't like to see this. He's got to throw strikes. And the next pitch misses for ball 4. But Rushing's going to challenge it. And the challenge is successful. Oh, great job by Rushing. And strike 3 from Sasaki. So that's going to bring up Taylor. And the first pitch on the way. squares up and was looking to bunt, and then the ball seems to have, just was running in, but it hit on the bat. Didn't hit him on the hand. And he just kind of flipped out because the ball was so far inside. But the panic obviously didn't do him any good. And so just like that, another out for the Padres. So just like that, 2 away, and Merrill is up, who swings and hits a deep drive and just foul to the left-hand side, bouncing off the wall. So all it is a long foul and a long strike. 0-1, we'll take it. And the next pitch is looked at by Merrill for strike 2. Oh, and 2 to Merrill with 2 strikes. And the next pitch on the way misses low for ball 1, 1-2. And the next pitch, please don't get behind in the count after you started strong. Misses low for a ball, and Rushing's going to challenge it again. And this time the rookie is wrong. I just don't like challenges, generally speaking, unless you're like an all-star veteran, that don't happen in crucial situations. And this is the thing about Rushing. He's kind of like temperamental, and I think he gets caught up in himself trying to like make big plays. And you see that with these challenges. He's hit and miss, 50-50. He's the same way on the base paths. Sometimes he does great things, but he takes chances, and other times he makes boneheaded plays. But it's 3-2 to Merrill with 2 away. And the next pitch is popped up meekly in the infield. Merrill just slams his bat down because he knows it's going to be the 3rd out of the inning. And so at the end of 3, it's the Dodgers 1 and the Padres 3. Buehler getting warmed up and looking comfortable for the most part on the night. Yes, he's given up a couple of hits, including the home run to Mookie, but he looks like he's getting stronger as the game goes on, unlike Roki Sasaki. Needless to say, with 1/3 of the game behind us all of a sudden, it'd be good to have a shot of lightning. And nobody does that better than the next batter up, Freddie Freeman. Nice of Freddie to get in there and clean home plate. Now sinking into the dirt as he emerges in the batter's box. So Buehler about ready to start the next time around, and the first pitch is a ball inside. Slider for 88 miles per hour. And the next pitch also misses for ball 2. So you like to see that kind of a count early on at the top of the inning to a batter like Freddie Freeman. Next one is questionable, but the ump calls a strike. Looks like it's right on the bottom edge of the strike zone, so the count is 2-1. Next one also in there for a strike. So Buehler pitching quickly, and the count is 2-2. Next one misses inside. I almost thought it hit Freeman, but he avoided it, and instead it's just a bad pitch for a ball and a full count. And the full count pitch misses well outside and high, and Freeman starts the inning with a leadoff walk, bringing up Mookie Betts, and all kinds of boos for Betts in the stands at Petco. Boy, some of these calls from this ump really seem off. First pitch to Mookie is called a strike, and it looked like a ball. I don't think we even needed I don't know if you call that GPS or what you call it to track the strikes and balls, but it was a ball. Next pitch swung on and grounded to second base. Second baseman takes it himself and turns 2. Not an easy play to make. He was positioned in a spot where, gave him a good chance to be able to get to that ball quickly. He was shifted slightly to the left of the infield. But still, after he fielded it, stepped on second base, he was able to turn his shoulders quickly and make that double play. And next up is Max Muncy, swings at the first pitch and flies out to right field. So just like that, 3 outs for the Dodgers. So Padres coming up for the bottom of the 4th, and the score is still 1 Dodgers, 3 Padres. So Machado about to come up. Sasaki still on the mound, a little more solid last inning. In fact, you can argue ever since the pitching coach and the translator, along with the catcher, came out to the mound, he's settled down a little bit. but really still not at his potential level. So Machado coming up, trying to make some noise the first time. He walked, and he was one of the people that the home run brought home, and always looking to swing for the fences. Pitch on the way. Drive deep to right center, and it looks like it's going to be over the head of Pages, bounces on the warning track and into the wall, and Machado is going to slide but be into second base for a double easily. So Manny Machado starts the inning with a double, his 14th on the year. It looked like Andy had a chance at it, and his angle was off. Like he took an angle that was too shallow, rather than, after bragging on how great his angles are and his false steps almost never occur, rather than taking a deeper angle to where it was going to land. And so it's hard to say whether or not he could have made a play on the ball if he took a better angle, but he definitely didn't give himself a chance the way that he should have. So Manny on second, and now Sheets comes up. Manny not really a threat to run. I wouldn't say he's slow, but he's not speedy. Sheets swings early and flies it out for the first out of the inning. They're showing the replay for Pages. His angle didn't look as bad as I first thought it was, but he knew he was about to run into the wall, and it looks like he just slowed down because of that and even took his eye off the ball so that he can judge when he was going to make contact. And that's a really hard play to make. So give Manny credit for hitting a double. So that brings up Bogaerts. Bogaerts 0 for 1 so far on the evening. And the 0-1 pitch is flied to right. Manny is looking like he's going to tag. He actually did not look like he was that intent on tagging. And that's the thing about Manny. Not great speed. If it was somebody with really good speed, they probably would have thought about having him tag up and go from second to third, but not Manny. So a pretty half-hearted look at, or a fake, like he was going to be able to tag up, but not really looking to go. So now Ty France, the person that did the major damage and the person responsible, other than Roki Sasaki, for the 2 walks that preceded France's home run. France gets the credit for a huge shot last time up from the 7th position. So 2 away. And the first pitch is a ball. Next pitch swung on, and boy, he's generating a lot of force. I mean, he fouled it off to the right, but he looks scary swinging the bat right now. So 1-1 to Ty France. Sasaki up to his 66th pitch. Next one for a ball inside. 4-seam fastball misses, and that brings the count to 2-1. The pitch swung on a miss, 2-2. Good looking pitch. This one really dropped and moved from inside to outside the strike zone. So Manny on second, 2 outs, and the count 2-2. Next pitch also fouled. Count remains 2-2. Boy, it'd be great to get a strikeout. We'll take any kind of out, but it would be good for Sasaki's confidence. Two-two pitch on the way and fouled off again. This is not been a good trend for Sasaki. He's had a few times tonight where he's got up early on the count, and then the hitters will, kind of battle, and then get a walk. Oh, and this one hits France. Looks like it hit him on the hand or the forehand. And he is down in pain. That pitch was 99 miles an hour. I'm sure they're going to show it again. Looks like might have hit him right on the wrist of the batting glove. And still down on the dirt. Trainer has him out gripping his hand to test his strength and pain level. And yeah, it hit him square on the forearm. Right on that long bone in the front of your forearm. So not on the wrist, not on the hand. And what they're trying to do now, you can see the close-up, is they're trying to test to see if it feels like there's a fracture in there. Trainer's got his thumb right on that bone. I think you might call it the radial bone. And Ty's sitting up now. Boy, that did not sound good. I mean, that sounded like it hit the bat, but it hit bone. And it already looks like it's swelling up. Ooh, it's already forming a bruise. You see the purple already starting to set in. You just hope it's not a break of some kind or a fracture. I'd be surprised if they let him stay in, no matter how much he wants to. But it looks like he's going to head to first. That's the 129th time that Ty France has been hit by a pitch. And as he goes to first, he, Freddie Freeman, and the first base coach are all looking at his forearm with some smiles. But needless to say, at this level, the trainers are so good that it would be rare for them to misdiagnose and say, no, you're okay, when in fact he has some kind of a fracture. Although at the same time, unless he slides on it, puts pressure on it the rest of the game, like body pressure, he can't really make it worse, even if it is some kind of a hairline fracture. But nonetheless, now we have runners on first and second, and that brings up the 8-hitter, Wagner. And Sasaki starts him off at a 2-0 count. If Sasaki gets to this inning, I'm fine with us just yanking him. Put somebody else in. He's just not feeling it. It's not like he's not trying. But he's already at 73 pitches. The next pitch misses as well. Now it's 3-0. Oh my goodness. And the next one misses for ball 4. Now we're bases loaded with 2 outs. And only now are they getting somebody up in the bullpen loose. And he almost looks frightened. They've got a close-up on Sasaki, and he looks like it's almost out of his control. I mean, that was a hit by pitch followed by 4 straight balls. And I think that's the 4th walk he's had this evening. Rushing goes out to talk to him again. And looks like the umpire's warning Rushing. And Rushing might have been trying to buy some time for a relief pitcher to come in right now, but I don't know if it's enough. So at this point, Sasaki's going to deal with the problem that he's created. 2 outs, bases loaded, and the Padres threatening with a number 9 hitter, Duran. And the first pitch in there for a strike. That's a relief. Next pitch on the way with 2 outs. Dodgers hoping to be able to just get out of this inning unscathed. And swung on, hit to shortstop. Mookie Betts covers that well within his range, flips it to second base for the 3rd out of the inning. So Sasaki finds himself in a huge heap of trouble, but he's able to get out of it by the skin of his teeth. And hopefully that's it for Sasaki. For all of the trouble that he's had so far in this game, we're almost lucky to only be down by 2 runs. And at the end of 4, it's 1 for the Dodgers, and the Padres have 3. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We are just getting started with this channel and laying the foundation for covering all of LA's top-level sports. So, of course, starting with the Dodgers, and we'll be here for the playoffs, of course, as things really start to ramp up in terms of pressure. Once football season gets here, that's really my neck of the woods since I played and coached football, and so I'll be looking forward to bringing you a little bit of perspective in that way. We'll be looking at the LA Rams and to some extent the LA Chargers, depending on scheduling, as well as UCLA football. And of course, the Los Angeles Lakers when they roll back around. So Kyle Tucker is up, and the first pitch is a strike. And the second pitch swung on, and it's hit shallow left field. Running up to try to make a play is Taylor, and he gets there with his speed for the 1st out of the inning. So Buehler looking comfortable and confident. And the next batter is Tommy Edman. Early count to Tommy Edman is 1-1. And got a hit his first time up, edging his batting average closer to 400, although it's been a very brief trip back to the lineup after ankle surgery in the offseason and then the long road back through the minors. But it's so great to see him back in the lineup. Really reliable and clutch. Count is 3-1. And the pitch fouled off deep. And if it was about 10 feet more to the left, had a chance to be a home run. So it's full count to Edman. This is the kind of dangerous you'd like to see in the bottom third of your lineup. And the full count pitch misses, and Edman walks. So that brings up Dalton Rushing, who's really struggled at the plate recently. He was, I think, partly out of sorts, striking out 3 times against Ryan the last game due to that miscommunication and whatever you want to call it between he and Shohei Ohtani. Kind of desperate for a hit right now. 1 away and a runner on first. And 1-1 now to Rushing. And the next pitch jams up Rushing inside, and he flies it meekly to the shortstop. So 2 outs with a runner on first. And you'd love to see the 9-hitter Freeland get on because Shohei Ohtani is on deck. First pitch is fouled off for strike 1. And the next pitch is in the dirt, bounces off of the catcher, gets behind him, and now Tommy Edman advances to second base. So just like that, we have a runner in scoring position. And Freeland, with 2 out, has a 1-1 count. And Shohei Ohtani on deck. Next pitch misses for ball 2. So 2-1 to Freeland. Pitch on the way, and hit to second base, and easily played for the 3rd out of the inning. And the Dodgers leave a man stranded on second. So midway through the 5th, it's the Dodgers 1, the Padres 3. So they're showing that Sasaki's coming out, but sometimes the 3D is behind. Yeah, I really hope that's not true. Sometimes the 3D doesn't switch the pictures officially until it's announced on television. Got to keep it close and try to get to the 6th and 7th innings where we have been doing the most damage lately. Probably the 7th inning is where we've had the biggest surge in hits and runs over the last 2 months. But it's Sasaki back in there, and Tatis is up. And the first pitch on the way. And swung on and blasted to left center for a double. Come on, man. I don't know what we're doing. Get him out of the game. Get him out now, please. Come on. I mean, that just sat there in the strike zone. That was like batting practice. My goodness. Making him look like an all-star, which he has been anything but this year. In fact, it was so sad and desperate that it was national baseball news when he finally hit his first home run of the season. Had a horrible start to the season. And he's still not hitting particularly well. So, leadoff double. And now Taylor's back up. Last time he showed bunt. He does it again. And then pulls it back for ball 2. 2-0. I don't know what we're doing. Sorry, I'm not trying to be negative, but I mean, this is part of what LA fans do too. We're spoiled, no question. We have very high expectations. So 2-0. Squares around a bunt. It's high, misses for ball 3, and rushing throws down to second base and tries to pick off Tatis. Boy, that was nervy. So 3-0, man on second, no outs. And Taylor, we'll see if he squares around again. He does. And Sasaki walks him. Please. Are they coming out to replace him? Finally. He looks so sad, and I feel bad for him. It's nothing personal. He just did not have it today. But like that last at bat was like a joke. They square around like you do in Little League to try to intimidate the pitcher and get him off his game, and it worked. This is after the last at bat when Taylor squared around and almost got hit by the pitch. So, see you later, Roki. Better luck next time as you sink into the dirt. We'll see who the Dodgers bring in from the bullpen. They should have started the inning that way, though. Instead, they have no outs, and they have runners in first and second. So we'll see shortly who they're bringing in for Roki Sasaki. It's not going to be an easy assignment with no outs, bottom of the 5th, and runners in first and second. And the Padres are still in the meat of the lineup. We also have Tatis on second base, who can run. So, not just in scoring position, but a threat to score on anything that's hitting a place in the outfield that takes a minute to get to. So Merrill coming up, who's 0 for 2 so far tonight. And the Dodgers bring in Dreyer. And the first pitch from Jack Dreyer is into the dirt. Jack's pitched 30 games so far this year. He's 3-1 with a 3.82 ERA. And they're showing Roki, and it looks like he's crying. It looks like he has tears coming down his eyes, and he's hiding in the shadow of somebody else in the dugout. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. I think that's part of the issue with him. You know, his emotions sometimes, because he wants to play so well, get the best of him. Swung on and hit, and the Dodgers make the play. Runners advance. And after the out, force out at second base, we now have runners at first and third with one out. So at least we have a chance to make a double play. Manny Machado coming up. He walked the first time up and then make solid contact the next time. And Jack Dreyer's first pitch is way high out of the strike zone for ball 1-0. And the next pitch is a strike. Runner takes off for second, and Rushing pretends like he's going to throw second to see if they're going to try to advance from third, and they don't. So fake throw, hold on to the ball, but now we got runners in second and third, 2 runners in scoring position. And consequently, because Machado's always dangerous, they intentionally walk him now, and suddenly the bases are loaded. We knew it was going to be a tough order for Dreyer, for whoever came in. So bases loaded, 1 out. And that's bringing up the 5-hitter Sheets, who's 0 for 1 tonight. First pitch in the dirt and blocked by Rushing. Nice job. Pass ball would definitely be a run right here. And it bounced in front of home plate. And this time he does a nice job cupping it in front of him. So 1-0 to Sheets. Next pitch on the way. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Dodgers trying to keep it close here in a dicey situation. So 1-1 to Sheets. Bases loaded and only 1 out. Sheets swings right up the middle, but Mookie Betts was playing it beautifully. Fields it, steps on second base, and throws to first to turn 2 and end the inning and avert disaster. Great job. Great job. First of all, by knowing the situation and shifting the infield to the right, as hopefully you saw there. He looked like he was maybe 5 feet away from second base when that hitter made contact. So he was able to field that easily, step on second, and throw to first without really any drama to turn 2. So some intense moments, but at the end of 5, it's still the Dodgers 1 and the Padres 3. So heading to the top of the sixth, and Shohei Ohtani is going to lead off for the Dodgers. Walker Buehler doing a really solid job against his former team. Up to 64 pitches. And he has 5 strikeouts. And the lone run was a home run by Mookie Betts. Shohei started the game with a hit. And then the last time up, he looked at strike 3, which was unusual for him. So the first pitch to Shohei, looks at it for ball 1, 1-0. And the next pitch also misses, 2-0. Reports are that the Padres already have Matsui up. Yep, they show it now. Matsui's up, warming up. The lefty is getting ready to come in for Buehler. Buehler throws ball 3. So 3-0. The hitters count to Shohei. Shohei very steady in the batter's box. And looks at strike 2. He looked a little bit hopeful. Although it looked like it could have missed. Nope, just caught the very edge of the strike zone. So now 3-2. He's got to protect the plate this time in a way that he didn't last time. Full count to Ohtani. Swung on, grounded to the right side. Tough to get to by the second baseman, but they're able to throw out Shohei because first baseman gets over top, and France not only picks up the ball but throws it to the pitcher who's covering first. So Buehler, big assist there on the first out of the inning. So that brings up Andy Pages with 1 away, and Pages is 0 for 2. He's kind of struggled at the plate recently, although he's still maintaining the second spot in the lineup. First pitch misses, ball 1. I still like his second at bat better than his first. I don't like usually when he swings right away at the first pitch. And the last time he made better contact after kind of being patient, seeing a few pitches. And the second one he looks at as well, and that misses for ball 2. Buehler's starting to look like he's getting a little fatigued. He does not look as sharp. And the third pitch misses as well, 3-0. So 3-0 to Pages. I'd take on this one. Make him throw a strike. And the next pitch misses, ball 4. Pages goes to first base. He is not bringing the bat with him, unlike what the 3D is showing. And just the guy we want to see up in this situation. If it's not going to be Shohei, it's got to be Freddie Freeman. Freeman, who hit his 2,500th hit a few weeks ago, and now he's on the march to 3,000 rarefied air. And now there is a huddle at the mound, and it looks like Buehler's night is going to be done. And he gets applause from the Padre crowd at Petco. Did a solid job. Solid job. But I feel like that's the difference right now between the Dodgers and the Padres tonight. There's a recognition of when is the proper time to sub your pitcher. We waited too long with Roki, but they can see the writing on the wall with Bueller. So looks like the lefty Matsui is going to be coming in, and the Padres are going to be having lefty on lefty. And Matsui it is, rises up from the dead on the mound. This 3D is comical. So it looks like there's a Dodger catcher who's multitasking. While he holds a bat, he's also catching and throwing the ball back. That's pretty impressive. And sinks down into the dirt as we get close to see this next matchup between Matsui and Freddie Freeman. Not an overly pressure-filled situation from Matsui. Only one on. And he's got a 2-run lead. And there's already one out. First pitch misses. 1-0. I've seen Matsui enough in the past to feel fine about this matchup. He struggles from time to time. Although it says, this year he's got a 1.67 ERA, but I mean, he's a good pitcher. There's no question about that. But the Dodgers have had success in crunch time against him. And first 2 pitches are balls, 2-0. Next pitch is fouled off for a strike, 2-1. Freddie is so popular. For all the boos that Mookie gets at Petco, Freddie gets people chanting his name, Freddie, Freddie. The 2-1 pitch from Matsui, and it misses for ball 3, 3-1. Three-one pitch on the way to Freddie Freeman. And right at the top edge of the strike zone, check swing, fouled off to the left for strike 2. And just like that, we have a full count with 1 out. And swung on, hit deep to left field. Is it going to be a home run? Not quite. It bounces deep in the left corner, and Freddie Freeman's going to have a stand-up double, and Pages goes to third base. Outstanding contact with that trademark swing. And Taylor just couldn't quite get there. Andy Pages had a late start on the base paths, was trying to be conservative, and he wanted to be in a position to be able to tag up if Taylor made that catch. And so second and third, and the Padres are going to intentionally walk the hot Mookie Betts, who hit a home run early in the game. That's how the Dodgers had their only lead of this game. First pitch swing by Mookie over the left field fence. Really good contact. And, you know, it's a difficult thing to do. It was a similar situation to what Andy Pages had. Taylor was running into the corner. He had to be on his horse, and then he got really close to that corner. He had to kind of take a quick peek to where the fence was to understand whether he was going to collide or not, and the ball just traveled too far, too fast for him to be able to get there in time. And then the next pitch popped up with bases loaded. Infield fly rule in effect. Machado let it bounce. And it could have rolled foul, but it didn't. And so Max Muncy pops for the second out of the inning. And now it's bases loaded with 2 away, and I hate to say it, but Kyle Tucker, this is not a good situation for him. He's not confident, and he hasn't been for over a month. And the first pitch is a strike, 0-1. Be awesome to see him get back on track with a big RBI or 2 right now. The 0-1 pitch on the way. And Tucker swings and fouls it back for strike 2. It does not look confident. Does not look confident. Kind of hangs his head. I've talked about this before. Kind of opposite body language from Rojas. When Miguel Rojas gets up there, no matter what's going on, and this seems to be his attitude just generally, he's going to make the most of it, and he has a really positive, determined demeanor. And it's just a contrast to what you're seeing with Tucker. Looks at the first ball low, 1-2. So bases loaded, 2 outs. The Dodgers needs some damage right now at the top of the 6th. Down 2 runs. So the pitch, fly to right, in right center, but does not look like it's going to be very dangerous. And the center fielder gets over there and pretty easily makes the 3rd out of the inning. So Matsui pumps his fist as he gets out of that dangerous situation. And the crowd goes wild at Petco for the 3rd out. So it stays the way that it's been for several innings now. Dodgers behind 3-1. So it's up to Jack Dreyer to keep things close for us and give us a chance to do some damage with the meat of our best hitters. But that was really a golden opportunity for the Dodgers and just did not cash in. And the Dodgers make another change. They bring in Stewart now to face the sixth batter, Bogarts, who's 0-2 so far tonight. And the early count is 0-2 to Bogarts. So Stewart starts Bogarts in a hole to start the inning. And the 0-2 pitch. Flied, as you can see, just about 10 feet or less to the right of second base, but Freeland's in position, already shifted over and expecting the ball to be hit there. Good job by the Dodgers doing their homework, knowing the tendencies for where the hitter sprays the ball. So one away at the bottom of the sixth, and that'll bring up the 7-hitter, Ty France, who did the big damage in the earlier part of the game and hit that 3-run home run. Last at bat, got hit on the forearm and was down for a while. And as he was down, the trainer came out and was feeling his forearm to see if there was a fracture of some kind. Grounds out to second for the second out of the inning. And, you know, obviously he seems to be fine. They didn't have a close-up to take a look at how bad that bruise has become since then, but he formed a bruise really quickly. So Stewart with a strong start and already has 2 outs in relief as Dave Roberts inserts him in the 6th inning. Next up is Wagner, who's 0 for 1. And the first pitch is a ball, 1-0. Next pitch misses, 2-0. And the camera is showing deep, deep outfield area right next to where Gallagher Square is. And I got to tell you, I went to Gallagher Square with my family members last weekend to see Country Music Festival in conjunction with NASCAR. It was pretty awesome. I'm not a country person. I'm not going to pretend that I am. Although there are country artists that I really like. And the headliner was Steven Wilson Jr. And if you guys have not checked him out, you got to check him out. He's really not your traditional country musician, and he's got a fascinating story. So check it out. You will not regret it. Steven Wilson Jr. has kind of he's got some overtones of Chris Cornell and some other influences from the grunge era that he listened to a bunch. He's actually covered a couple of grunge hits from back in the day. I was a Nirvana fan. But grew up in the country. And so it's a pretty cool blend. But it was great to kind of be in that setting and the great weather that San Diego has. I mean, it's the best weather in the country. We're so spoiled. Stewart puts this runner on base. And so now with 2 away, we've got a runner on first. And Stewart's facing the bottom of the lineup, number 9 hitter, Duran, who's 0 for 2 tonight. And fouls it deep along the right field line and just pushes it foul of the pole. So, long strike, 0-1. Next pitch. Swung on and popped up really high behind third base, and Mookie Betts is going to call for it and comfortably makes the catch, and that's 3 away. So at the end of 6, it's the Dodgers 1 and the Padres 3. I want to give a shout out to my mom, Karen, getting close to her 80th birthday. Had surgery a couple days ago and resting comfortably, recovering well after her surgery. Lives in Delaware, grew up in California, but came all the way out here to have that surgery. And just crushing age, I'll put it that way. Aging is really in trouble when it comes to my mom. So the next inning, Tommy Edman's going to lead off for the Dodgers. See if we can close this gap or maybe even tie it up. Put some pressure on the Padres. This has really been the winning formula for the Dodgers in all of the really important games the last few years. Padres have really made flubs in pressure-packed situations, even though this isn't a playoff game. It kind of feels like it whenever they play. And so that's really what they need to do, is put pressure on the Padres to make a mistake. And the Padres bring in Adam. And the first two pitches, not very good. Starts with the ball, and then the second pitch is also a ball, throws it in the dirt. So 2-0 to Edman, who is very disciplined at the plate. Edman looks at the next pitch, just on the corner for a strike. 2-1 is the count. Shook his head a little bit, but it's only one strike. The last thing you want to do is take one pitch out of context and press. And that's what he does on the very next pitch, trying to make something happen when he knows the Dodgers need it. Swings at a curveball that drops out of the strike zone, and now it's 2-2. I think no matter how long it's been the case, if you go and play where you grew up, even if you're not conscious of it, on some level, you just press a little bit more, trying to show out well in your home city. And Tommy Edman, being a San Diego native, definitely wants to do that. Next pitch misses for a ball, and it's now full count with no outs to Edman. Swung on, foul to the right. Count remains full to Edman. I like these kinds of at-bats from him. Last couple of years, especially during the championship runs, he's been a determined hitter that's been able to fight off pitches and then find the one that he likes. See if he can do it here. Looks at strike three. One away. So a little bit of an opportunity there, but Edman was not able to cash in. And so now Rushing comes up, and the first pitch misses for a ball, 1-0. Rushing's 0 for 2 and has not looked good at the plate recently. Boy, I miss Will Smith. But by all reports, it doesn't sound like he's coming back anytime soon. His neck is still not in great shape. He hasn't done anything baseball related for several weeks. And now the count to Rushing is 1-2. Rushing, he's just pressing too much. He's immature and he presses, trying to make plays. But sometimes you just have to let the game come to you. And he does that behind the plate. He does it on the base paths. He does it at the plate. He's got to take his foot off the accelerator just a little bit. 1-2. Fouled, and the count remains 1-2. This pitcher's got a really weird windup. It almost looks like a catcher trying to throw to second. Just takes the elbow, cocks it back, and then delivers. Rushing swings, pops it up, not even a threat, and that's out number 2. So nobody on, 2 outs. Bringing up the 9-hitter Freeland with Shohei Ohtani on deck. First pitch misses, 1-0. Boy, I'd almost be fine with Freeland just standing there and not swinging until there's 2 strikes. Because he's just not a great hitter, but he's blazing fast when he's on the base path. And if he can get on with Shohei up, that's one of our best bets for evening this score, 3-3. But we've been behind for several innings now. The 3D actually picks up the motion of the pitcher pretty decent. You can kind of see this I don't know, shortened, truncated delivery. Count now is 2-1 to Freeland. So 2 outs, 2-1 pitch, swung on and grounded to first base. No problem. So 3 away for the Dodgers again. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Appreciate you. LA Press Box is a new channel, just getting up and running, and so we appreciate all the support you can give us by both watching, liking, and subscribing. What we're going to be doing is building a community for LA sports fans to come together, whether they're in LA or they used to be in LA or they just like LA teams. So we're starting with the Dodgers, and then as we get closer to the end of the summer and football season ramps up, we'll definitely be doing football games. That's really my area of expertise. I played football and coached football at the college level for a long time. And so from that perspective, we're going to be following UCLA football, my alma mater, but also the LA Rams. And when the schedule permits, we'll try to squeeze some Chargers in there too. Later on in the year, we'll circle back to the LA Lakers. Fall's obviously going to be a busy time, going back and forth between the Dodgers, who of course are going to be in the playoffs right now. They have the best record in baseball, as well as football teams, and then depending on how deep the Dodgers go, maybe all 3 sports. So it looks like the Dodgers are bringing in Enriquez, who's been solid. I like him as a pitcher. And last time he was out, he was only there for 1 inning against the Twins, but it was lights out. Tatis Jr. is going to be coming up to start the inning for the Padres. First pitch on the way from Enriquez to Tatis Jr. Ooh, and brushes him off. Ball one. Make these hitters that have been struggling, that are some of the worst offensive producers in the league, do their job. There we go, Enriquez. Challenge him. Went right after him. Swung on a miss for strike one. The count is 1-1. Next pitch, curveball. That looks like it was a strike called ball. And even Tatis Jr. looked back at the umpire like, oh, really? With a kind of a wry smile going, okay, I'll take it. So the count, nonetheless, is 2-1. Next pitch, a rocket to center field, slightly to the left, but Padres gets back there without too much trouble. Well placed, good angle on the ball, and makes the play near the warning track. So this is one of the things I don't like about some of these players, though, for the Padres. You know, he hits it deep, and he just stands there and hopes it's going to be a home run. He doesn't even run to first, doesn't even jog to first. Just sits there and tries to, like, admire his work. And to me, like, that's showboating. And the Dodgers have class in a way that you just don't see their hitters do that kind of stuff. It's not going to be acceptable according to Dodger culture. So just a long fly ball out that goes to the warning track. Did not even make the fence. And now Taylor comes up, and Enriquez starts him at 2-0. And the next pitch catches Taylor inside on the skinny part of the bat, pops it up to center, shallow, right center. Pages coming up, and Dodgers make the play with a sliding catch. So 2 away. Nice play by Pages. Has really, over the last year or two, especially this year, has started to perform at an all-star level in center field. So 2 away. And if Enriquez can make quick work of this inning, Shohei Ohtani comes up to start the next at bat for the Dodgers. Enriquez starts Merrill with a strike. And the next pitch misses for ball one. Next pitch is swung on and missed by Jackson Merrill for strike two, 1-2. Caught him inside. The White Sox reportedly scored 22 runs tonight. So the 2-2 pitch on the way. Check swing, the check with third base, and the umpire says no, he didn't go. So full count. 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Full count, pitch on the way with 2 outs. And swung on a miss for strike 3. So Enriquez does his job, makes quick work of the Padres. And at the end of 7, it's still 1-3 Padres. This is the time to do some damage with the top of the lineup and Shohei Ohtani coming up. And it looks like the Padres are going to bring in another reliever, Song, who was up and warming up last inning in the bullpen. Going with the lefty-on-lefty matchup, which, without knowing anything about the matchup, that's typically what you want. Lefty-on-lefty, righty-on-righty from a pitching perspective, because it takes just a fraction of a second more to be able to locate that ball coming kind of out of your blind spot, unless you have an open stance as a batter. Now, Ohtani does not have an overly open stance, but he swings to an open stance, meaning like he opens up, pulls with that front foot, opens his hips, and sometimes loses eye contact with the ball because he's trying to generate so much force. So hopefully he's going to be patient with Song. All right, so Shohei up to start the inning. And the first pitch hit right back to the pitcher, and an easy put out at first base for the first out of the inning. And it ended up not being the pitcher that we thought it was going to be. It's Morejon, who's also a lefty, though. And nonetheless effective for the Padres. And that brings up Andy Pages, who's still 0 for tonight. That was 0 for last game. So 1 away, and the first pitch is a ball. Pitch swung on and hit right back at him, up the middle, for a rolling base hit, and Pages is on safely with 1 away. So once again, with a runner on first, the man you love to see at the plate, who delivered last time, he hit a double in the left corner, Freddie Freeman. We almost need a home run from Freeman. I mean, this is a miserable run output to this point with only one run. And we've left our share of runners on base tonight. We had bases loaded with 2 outs, and they were not able to bring anybody in. First pitch is a strike to Freeman. And second pitch is in there as well. Looks at it for strike 2. Freddie's good at defending the strike zone with 2 strikes, so see what he does here as he's up against it. The 0-2 pitch to Freddie Freeman, and misses high. He's also disciplined, and now the count is 1-2. Crowd is cheering for Freeman, the Dodgers fans anyway, and the rest of the crowd is cheering Padres. Next pitch swung on and hit for a base hit. Diving shortstop could not get there, and Freddie Freeman delivers again. I mean, he can hit it anywhere, and this is what we're talking about earlier on with a rookie like rushing. You know, trying to basically force the ball where he wants it to go. Freddie Freeman, one of the greatest hitters of all time, future Hall of Famer, plays it as it lies, so to speak. And just like that, they have a huddle at the mound with Morejon. And the Dodgers have runners on first and second with one out. I have not watched baseball a whole lot this season up until the last month, so I'm good with pronouncing the names of the Dodgers, but forgive me as I get into the swing of things with the evil ones. So it looks like Morejon's going to stay in. And Mookie Betts coming up. Getting boos from the stands. The one player who's done damage tonight for the Dodgers with his first pitch home run earlier in the game. Swung on, hit just to the right of second base. Song, the second baseman, picks it up, steps on second base, and easily makes the double play. Nice infield shift for the Padres. Expecting the ball to be hit near the middle, and I would have too. I would have shifted one way or the other because that's, as a viewer, what you've been seeing a lot as he's been kind of getting himself out of this jam, Mookie Betts. He's been hitting most of his balls right to center field. So well positioned and a double play. Now the Dodgers are going to be grasping at straws a little bit in that final at bat as they are 3 outs away from losing this one. Roki Sasaki, with the Golden Glove, did not look very good tonight. I mean, he had a couple of strikeouts early on, but really struggled, especially later in the game. I wouldn't say later in the game, later in his outing. And the Dodgers probably kept him in there a little bit longer than they should have. But, I mean, walked a couple of batters, hit a batter, just did not look good tonight. Gave up the 3-run homer. But ultimately, the Dodgers have to score more than 1 run and put themselves in a position to be able to win a game that the opponent only scores 3. If they can keep the lead where it is, it's going to be up to the second half of the lineup, which has really struggled for the Dodgers for several weeks now to get that job done at the top of the 9th. And now the Dodgers bring in Jonathan Hernandez, who's pitched in 10 games this year and does not have a great ERA, 6.46. Manny Machado up. And the early count to him is 1-1. Manny challenged the last pitch, and the call stands. And so now the Padres are down to 1 challenge And the count remains 1-1. It looks like every time he's up, he's swinging for the fences. And he does on this pitch too, and just flies it to right field, completely no threat whatsoever. That's fine. I'm not complaining. But I don't know. If I was a Padres fan, I would want to see him not always swinging for the fences. Of course, he's hit base hits, but I can't think of a time. There's no photograph in my mind of Manny Machado hitting a line drive base hit. I've seen him hit deep doubles and remember those. But for a guy that's batting below 200, there really hasn't been much in the way of highlights this year. So now the 5-hitter Sheets comes up, who's 0 for 2 on the evening. And the count to him from Hernandez is 2-1. The next pitch jams up Sheets on the inside and pops it foul for strike 2, 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch with one out is slapped to left center for a base hit. So Sheets is on with his first hit of the game. So one away. Sheets on first, and now Bogarts is up, who's 0 for 3 tonight. The Padres would love nothing more to get an insurance run and then have Mason Miller come in with all the hype that happens in Petco and then put away the Dodgers. But it's not over until it's over. I haven't mentioned it yet, but the baseball caps tonight have a VZ on the side because of the terrible earthquakes in Venezuela. They just had a close-up on the side of the hats. And on the next pitch, Hernandez falls, loses his footing, and now, just like that, with a runner on first and one out, the count's 3-0. So collects himself, talks to himself, and the next pitch just catches the lower edge of the strike zone. 3-1. Sheets has hardly a lead off at first. And Hernandez throws ball 4 for the 8th walk of the game from the Dodgers. Thanks for that, Ronnie. Appreciate you joining. Would appreciate you getting the word out and liking and subscribing. We're starting a new channel for all LA sports fans. And if you live in San Diego like me, whether you're a LA sports fan that likes to stay connected and you spend a lot of your time in the LA area, I spent a lot of my life, almost all my life there, or you're a Padre fan that's blocked out, which is just kind of silly. I understand there's a ton of money at stake trying to drive traffic to the stadium rather than having people stay at home and watch. I appreciate you coming here to get your fix. When I moved here, I tried to become a Padres fan. I tried to be the loyal local person. I just couldn't. And part of it was the desperation, which I feel. I feel for the Padres fans. I feel for the San Diego fans, having only the Padres to root for as a professional team. It's kind of criminal because it's an absolutely amazing city. And so, I mean, really, it's it's sad that it's blocked, or that you have to have Apple TV to be able to see the game or go to the game. But runners on first and second, one out, and the count is 1-1 to Ty France, who did the major damage against the Dodgers earlier in the evening. Roki Sasaki walked two batters, and Ty France just launched one for a 3-run home run. And that's how the score has been ever since. Well, thanks for joining us, Ronnie. I'm glad that we can give you a little bit of a Padres fix. And for the rest of you that have been watching, if you haven't already, go ahead and put in the chat who you think's going to win tonight. Obviously, I don't know what the odds are. They adjust as the game goes along, but chances are the statistics show the Padres is, probably 90-95% chance of winning, especially with Mason Miller getting ready to try to shut the door. So 3-1 to Ty France. And the next pitch, upper right-hand corner of the strike zone. Just catches it for strike two. So full count, one out, and runners on first and second. And Hernandez about to deliver the next pitch. And misses, ball four. Bases loaded again. And only one out. And the chants during the conference at the plate, at the mound, are beat LA, beat LA. I got to tell you, if you're a Padres fan and you've been fortunate enough to be in Petco when Mason Miller is about to take the field to close, it's a spectacle. I mean, it's crazy to say this. Petco is just such a gorgeous, gorgeous place to watch a game, or like last weekend, go to a country concert or any kind of, live music performance, just outside the stadium on the grass of Gallagher Square. And at this point, I think in 2 years I've been to Petco more than I was ever going to Dodger Stadium over the course of 15, 20 years. As much as I love LA sports teams, I mean, it's like night and day. It's an absolute nightmare trying to get into Dodger Stadium and then get out. And Petco's got gas lamp. It's got all the stuff you want to have a tremendous experience. So here we go with bases loaded. And Song is up. And he makes contact. It's right up the middle, and he gets through for a base hit to center field. One runner comes home. Second runner comes home. And just like that, the Padres are now up 5-1. Wow. And now the Padres in commanding position with the paltry output the Dodgers have shown at the plate tonight. It was not hit particularly hard, but it was in the perfect spot, and that's all that counts. Now it's 2 away because Pages came up on that ball really quickly, made a great throw to third for the tag out. And that's why you see that there's 2 outs and somebody on second base. made a great throw, no doubt, with the tag at third. And now Duran is up, the number 9 hitter who's 0 for 3 tonight. And it's 1-2 with 2 away. So the pitch swung on, hit to left field, and it drops. Edman can't get there, and Song scores. 6-1 Padres. And that dropped in for a double. So now the Padres getting a little bit of a hit parade going in the later part of the game. Dropped right in there, about 10 feet short of the left field foul line. And that brings up Tatis. The pitch. First pitch swung on and hit over the second baseman's head, who was playing in the right position but couldn't jump up and get to it. And now the Padres score another run, breaking the game open. 7-1 Padres with 2 outs. And people in the stands wearing Padres jerseys, jumping up and down at Petco, pumping their fists in the air, as they should. The Padres have done an outstanding job tonight. Padres are very different when they play loose and they play aggressive. And now that the pressure's off, this is the kind of thing you'll see. You'll see them kind of pour it on, potentially. So needless to say, they're starting a little bit of a mini streak, having swept the Atlanta Braves, who was battling with the Dodgers for the best record in the league for several weeks. And now getting ready to take the first game of the 3-game series from the Dodgers. Tatis fakes like he's going to steal and doesn't. And now Taylor from Corona Centennial High School comes up. And the count early to him is 0-2. The Dodgers are just going to leave Hernandez in there to suffer. No reason to get their best closer. There's nothing to close. Or their best middle to late relievers in there. Swung on a miss for strike 3. So Hernandez gets out of the inning finally, but not after a bunch of damage is done. And Padres fans are elated. I wonder if there's any way possible I can show the scoreboard. I mean, I'll show the scoreboard, but unfortunately, the big screen is not something you can see on the 3D. But I mean, they make it look like a devil is jumping out of hell when Miller comes from the bullpen to close things out. It's the graphics are awesome. Awesome. So the Dodgers are down to their last 3 outs. And Max Muncy is going to be up first, with the Dodgers trailing by 6. Needless to say, the odds are long against it, and it hasn't happened very often, but there have been explosions this season where a team that was behind by more than 6 runs was able to come from behind and win. So, needless to say, if you're an LA sports fan, you're rooting for that. Padres fans just want to put a lid on this in a hurry. And they're not bringing in Miller. I guess they're going to let him rest, and they're going to bring in on the mound Peralta to get the save. And the Dodgers sub in Alex Call. And I'm guessing that for the Dodgers, they're trying to get some speed on base. And Alex Call, especially against the Minnesota Twins, where he grew up in Minnesota, did some good things and made some good contact, and then was kind of a terror on the base paths. So you can't get a 6-run home run. And what they're hoping is they can just get him on base and then build from there. So the pitch to Call, swung on, and a base hit between the first and second baseman. And that's exactly what they were hoping for. Great job by Call getting on base. And Dave Roberts is going to bring in another pinch hitter, Miguel Rojas, who, as I was saying earlier, has completely different affect, completely different body language than your typical batter, like, not to pick on him, but like Kyle Tucker when he's struggling. Even if Rojas swings and misses, or he does something that's uncharacteristic, or it's, just not well executed at the plate, he's clutch because he's a veteran, he's mature, and he keeps a really positive attitude. I love him as a pinch hitter. Obviously, he was a major factor in the World Series last year. So, Rojas is inserted as the 6th hitter, and the first pitch misses to him, ball 1. Second pitch also misses. Oh my goodness, that was a terrible call. Rojas is going to challenge. He's going to be successful. I don't think I even have to wait to see the replay. Yeah. It was a 2-inch miss, which is kind of a lot when it comes to the ABS measurement. So 2-0, man on first with no outs. And the pitch on the way to Rojas. Swung on and hit to third base. Goes to second. And the attempted double play, not successful. Get the force at second. Rojas legs it out, and he's safe at first. So 1 away and a runner still on first. Not as fast as the one that they were able to force out at second base. So the Dodgers down to their last 2 outs with 1 away. 0-1 is the start of the count to Tommy Edman, who's batting almost 400 in his brief return to the Dodgers. Now 1-1 to Edman. And the pitch misses. 2-1. Edman switching up, switch hitter. He was batting lefty earlier tonight. Fouls off the next pitch, so 2-2. Now batting right, so we can see the ball better. Being pitched from Peralta as the lefty. So the 2-2 pitch with one away. Swung on, hit to the shortstop, easily played. Shovel to second base for one, and then to first base for the double play. And Peralta does his job, shuts the door on the Dodgers, and that will be all for the first of this 3-game series. Padres feeling good about putting the Dodgers away and in their rearview mirror late in this game, even though it was a 2-run margin for most of it. And so high fives all around for the Padres in their alternate uniforms. And the final from Petco is the Dodgers 1 and the Padres 7. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks to everybody that joined tonight, that participated in the chat. And we'll see you again for the next time on LA Press Box, guys. Have a great night and have a great weekend, too.